My name is Dr. Jane Goldberg. Welcome to my show, Musings from 20th Street. I am a psychoanalyst, and I am the owner of La Casa de Spa. Both activities I do at 20th Street, East 20th Street to be exact. Today is my 6th episode of my reality TV group psychotherapy. And when I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about as my little intro of the episode, some of the group participants suggested that we talk about male-female energy, so I started thinking about what I wanted to say about male-female energy. And I'm thinking of Simon Baron-Cohen. The name might sound familiar to you because it is remarkably similar to a comedian who's known as Sacha Baron Cohen. And it turns out Simon is Sacha's uncle. Simon Baron-Cohen is the head of the autistic department at, I think it's Cambridge. It's either Cambridge or Oxford in England. And he's a very well-respected researcher. So he looked at male babies and female babies. He wanted to understand the difference between the male brain and the female brain. And the reason why this fits into autism is because the proportion of autistic people between males and females is the males outpopulate the females by 4 to 1. And then if you include the syndrome of Asperger's, which is considered to be a milder form of autism, the ratio actually goes up to 10 to 1. So he thought that there probably was some difference in the brain that could account for this, and he was trying to discover what it was. So he looked at newborns 1 day old, and then he looked at newborns 1 month old, and then he looked at babies 1 year old, and on through. And what he found is that there is a lifelong difference between the male brain and the female brain. From day one, a male baby, a male newborn, will look at a mobile and kind of pay attention with his eye movements to the movement of the mobile. From day one, a female newborn will look at eyes. And so he continued this research over a long period of time and discovered that throughout life, males they're more interested in classification, they're better at classification and analysis, they break things down into parts more easily, and the female brain, on the other hand, the female is more empathic, more responsive to social situations, to people, and to feelings. So with that said, my group expressed the idea that perhaps there was too much female energy in the group process and that we needed to help the men to be more of the kind of male presence and male energy. So group, what do you want to do with that?
Let the men go first.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
We want to know how you're
That's not good enough, Andre.
Now you got to go. You keep saying you have all these feelings, but you don't express
That's interesting is not good enough.
Like your issues. What are your issues?
What were you going to say in the last
Yeah,
session?
the
You were going
last-
to pick up on that.
I
I think it was about May, I think.
No, I think okay. Well, no, where I want to go with that? No, well, I was starting with what you were saying about the male, because I hear that. I'd like to go there too.
Mm-hmm.
But when you were saying the differences in male and female, and feeling versus, right? And I know you were asking me to.
Feel something.
Yeah.
Express feeling.
Oh,
Or
okay.
anger. I'd love to see you pissed.
Yeah, we would pay for that. We will pay to see you.
Or even cry if that's what you felt you wanted to do. But I know that most men would rather be pissed off than cry. So
But you keep cutting me off.
I apologize. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
You got it, Kay.
Yeah.
He gave you an expression of aggression.
Mhm.
Oh no, I think I was just being rude and he was just pointing that out.
Yeah.
That
That-
wasn't
yes.
aggressive.
Yes, it was. He was telling you that you were
My
interfering.
limit was here and not to cross that line.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
It was constructive aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried comedy first.
And you didn't raise your voice. You said it in a
Had a
calm
little
way.
bit of.
Mm-hmm.
But so feelings and expressing. But I like that you said that, because you said, "Oh, feel something," and they said, "Oh, express feelings."
Mhm.
I feel a lot when people speak, and especially face to face. But I was again starting with what you said, male and female differences. So I have to think about that deeply, you know, because I don't know if it's, you know, I know there's research there, you know, but I don't know how much of that is a stereotype or socially constructed, or however you want to put it. I think I fall more into maybe that part about expressing it. Maybe I'm not quite sure. I have to think about that a little bit more. But that's a great food for thought.
A lot of people don't like that finding.
Yeah.
And all of we who grew up as women's liberals, Paul mentioned that he became a psychologist in '68. I graduated from college in '68, so in the middle of the heyday of women's lib. And I mentioned my dissertation. It was about the differences between how male and females are seen. So it's a topic of great interest to me, and I certainly didn't want to think that there's a difference between a male and a female brain, because you know where women will fall on that side of the argument.
That we have a better brain
Yeah.
and a bigger brain, a smaller brain, but
Regarding that
better.
study, developmentally, did it follow those infants, male and female, at the age of 5, 10, 15, 20?
It was a longitudinal study.
It was?
Yeah. I don't remember how long it
Over
followed, but
different cultures
no, this was
Where?
all in England.
in England?
But getting
that-
back to him, I mean, the thing that I find interesting about you, because you said this twice, that I have all these feelings, but you talk in generalities. You have not mentioned any
Thoughts. He
specifics.
said he had all these thoughts.
Yeah, you said thoughts, and then you said feelings, but you haven't said any specific thoughts or feelings. It's just, and then we would change the topic.
I think
'Cause-
Andres is an internal person. I think you take a really long time to
Like Regan.
analyze things. And I think even last week you mentioned about the computer, that you're not like so savvy on the computer and or whatever, because you had a slow service internet. You didn't even have the fast one yet, remember? So I think you're very internal, and I think at the end of the 16 weeks, we're going to find out a lot about you. You're just not saying.
I'd rather
I-
hear it now.
I would imagine that's true. Yeah, and I even mentioned I think a couple of sessions that as you participate in groups like this in the past, and as an undergrad also in other areas, I know that as time goes on, I express myself a little bit more. But I think I just need to know a little bit more about what's going on and who people are, and the structure. And we started with commitment last session, and I kind of ended on that final note because I was listening to you, Dee, and you said prior to the taping, Jane, you asked him, well, if you won a ticket to Venezuela, would you go? And
Instead of being
Instead
here.
of being in group.
here, and you said without skipping a beat, no, I'm here. I made the commitment.
Right.
I'm here. And then that started me thinking. So I went to you, what you said, and that had an impact on me because I was planning on going away for a week and missing. And I said, wow, I heard that. You
You
know.
could go before the 20th.
We enforce our
You could go
rules
before the
here.
20th, though, because that's our next
and,
session.
and then this gentleman, who again I enjoy you being here, but you
Me?
were Paul.
Paul.
And then you entered the group, and then the kind of gray area about what level of commitment you're at or you're going to make, and then that came on the heels of Regan leaving, and she I think may have a conflict because she may have to get to work. So that's I guess is where I am. And by the way, I think that I express feeling all the time. I may not. Even my hands, even my face, I think I'm expressing feeling
Yeah, but you're just
all
slower.
the time.
You're
Well,
just
maybe
slower.
no, feeling words. Maybe.
Maybe.
Women like
Let me
feeling
ask you a
words.
question. You've seen, well, we've done how many 6 shows? What are your opinions about each of us? What are your impressions about each of us? Can you express
I
that?
think that's what you would like.
I think we would all like that.
Well, I
no,
don't know
not
about
just
all.
me. I think we know because other people have expressed their feelings about other people.
I would like it, but that doesn't mean he has to do it on your cue.
No, I'm
And
asking
you
you.
have
I
to
didn't
respect
demand.
that.
Kay, I want to
didn't
know, is that
demand
enough
it.
male energy for you?
Yes.
That was a lot of male energy.
Yeah. But he doesn't have to express his feelings.
I didn't say he has to. I asked him. I requested.
And he said
it was
that-
a request. Not a, I
Did you
didn't-
not listen to what he just said? He said it takes a little time for him to process the situation. He feels a lot.
So you're feeling irritated with Barbara right now. I just want to put it
Yeah,
into
What
words.
else is new?
Yes.
Hello. What else is new with her?
Are you in a
Barbara,
perpetual?
when you talk to me, could you look at me like a human being and just hold my gaze for a minute, a second?
I find it
without
hard when
flying
you're
off like
constantly
this?
degrading and berating me, darling.
So-
I apologize.
Okay, I'm
Constantly.
hello. I'm
Constantly.
intervening here.
Constantly.
I think that you would like to change Barbara, and that you might be better served by just saying how you feel toward her, because it's probably unlikely that you're going to change her. Although I still do have hope that we are going to have some influence on her.
But there's a positive way to do it, and then there's
I
a
don't-
very hostile
What
way
is
to
the
do it.
positive way?
A positive way when you're positive.
That was a great question.
Well,
Yeah,
positive.
I want to know.
I have my friends who give me positive construction. They will
Such
That's not
say
what you
something.
said. That is not what you said last week. Don't give me that. crap
No,
now.
that's how do you know? You know my
said
friends.
last week. You said,
Oh, we're
I
raising
don't have
ours,
any
we're
friends.
raising ours.
You were like a drama queen last
A
week.
drama queen.
Yeah,
well,
you
a
were.
drama queen.
Get
but
your
anyway.
story straight.
No,
Barbara.
I have my
Because
story. Do
I
you have your
remember
stories?
everything you said.
Why are
last
you
week.
even in this group when you don't have supposedly have no issues, darling?
Give us an
Because
example.
I'm here. Because I want to be here. How's
Why?
that?
So you can
I
berate
can
people?
analyze people like you.
Yeah, well, you weren't sexually abused. You weren't physically abused.
Well,
you weren't
you don't
emotionally
so,
abused.
Barbara,
So
will
why are you here?
You
Do I
know-
have to be sexually abused to be in this group?
You know,
Oh, well, you should have something wrong with you.
Barbara,
Apparently you do.
Barbara, I think that you,
Obviously.
I think you court danger.
Mm.
I think that you step in when any person that has a kind of,
She's raising her
A
voice.
better-
Does she have to raise her voice?
yeah, you know what I do when somebody raises their voice? I do not raise my voice back. Because when somebody is in a state of aggression toward me, I become fearful because I don't know how far their aggression is going to go. So I become very vigilant and I become very careful. And you don't. You step into it. And I think that's dangerous for you.
Well,
And I think that too, if you don't get, see, you weren't getting what you wanted from me, a conflict or a rise. You didn't even finish your issue with me. We did not finish discussing our issue, and Dr. Goldberg suggests I tell you not what to do, but how I feel about you. So I was thinking about how I was going to do that, and then you went bang onto her. And if she hadn't given you that aggression, you would have went bang to this, bang to that, bang to this, bang to that.
I don't see the gentleman at
You
all
do
coming
not-
down on me the way the women are. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference.
Because
He's not
let
raising
me tell
his
you,
voice.
Let me tell you, gentlemen, which we obviously have in this group because they are gentlemen, are never aggressive to women that they don't know. Most men will be exceedingly polite to women they don't know. Their girlfriends or wives is a different story. Okay, I've been in a relationship in a long time, but to women that gentlemen are unfamiliar with, they usually do not raise their voice or become aggressive because they want to be on their best behavior.
Although there are a lot of
If
men
I
who
was
would raise their
attacked, though,
voice.
I would.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Sure.
Right.
Right, but I haven't seen you. And if you had a question for me, you've done it in a polite way, in a very nurturing way.
So
but
are
I
you
noticed
saying
with
that
the
the
women here,
What-
they raise their
What
voice.
question do you remember from him coming as a polite way?
I mean, just in general, his demeanor towards me for the time he's been here has been
Uh-huh.
respectful.
I want to ask Dee how you experienced Lana's aggression toward Barbara.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, but Dee, you weren't here last week. You didn't have to sit in the
Yeah, I
hall
didn't
with the
hear that.
singing.
So what-
and
what-
dancing
I'm not allowed to
around.
sing.
No, but
I
So,
enjoy singing. What,
context,
that's a bad
context,
thing?
context.
Okay, I'm trying to
I'm-
talk here. I
think
want.
it's warranted, definitely, but it's pretty intense.
Well, last week her story was totally different
Mhm.
than this week, so I'm trying to
Okay, so that's
grasp.
hard
Yeah.
for me.
I am not an aggressive person, okay? Or maybe I am. Maybe I am sometimes.
You're a little
But I
Yeah.
can tell you, I'm a very
But that's
nurturing
cool.
person.
You're passionate.
And I
You're very passionate.
actually thought about you the whole weekend. Now, isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
Like, I could have done a zillion things,
I think
but
it
I'm
is
thinking about all your issues.
Because she doesn't add up. The choice
Yes.
changes.
It
the
does.
issues
It doesn't make
change.
any sense. And I'm going. I never met anyone like her my whole life. She has all
Welcome
these
to
problems.
mental health groups.
She said all these stories, but this week you flipped it around. Last week you said you had no friends. Last week you talked about masturbation. You didn't want a man. Today I heard you sit here before.
I never
the
said I didn't
sessions.
want a man. Why are you misinterpreting what I'm saying? You do
I
this all
can't
the
wait.
time.
I cannot wait to see the show tomorrow night. Can I tell you? I'm going to stay tuned.
Well, go ahead. There are times. Can I tell you there are
You
times-
know what? I think it's a gay group. It's a lesbian group.
Yeah, I'm a lesbian. I'm going to
The
admit
women-
it. Yeah.
The women are not showing enough interest in the men.
I'm into pussy. I'll be the first to say. I have a pussy at my house right now as we speak.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I have a cat. Thank you. Yes.
Can the women show some interest in men? Do we want to do that? Carol? Do you want to show some interest in one of the men here?
I'm not feeling anything right
You're in Regan's chair.
I'll tell you what, oh my God.
God, that's funny.
I don't feel, when Barb was talking to Lana a while ago, and oh my God, I can't even get my words out of my mouth. When you were saying, I don't know why you're here, you don't have any problems, and you were being sarcastic with her, and you guys were arguing and stuff, I thought, I have all kinds of little issues, but they're not big compared to yours or yours. I didn't have any abuse. You know, when I hear your
Yeah, but that
stories,
doesn't mean your issues are less than significant because
Right,
it's how
right.
they
No, we don't-
impact
yeah,
a person.
proportionally, you know, no, that's not the word I'm trying to find.
What is it?
Anyway, to me, my issues are kind of big, but you know, when I come here, it's like, shit, I'm okay. You know, like I'm thinking, I just quit a job and I haven't replaced that income. That's kind of a big deal to me. But I come here and I think, okay,
You're small
you
potatoes.
guys are arguing over which meds you've tried, and
Yeah.
you know,
This is
okay, I
ridiculous.
can't relate to any of that. But I need, you know, I need to figure out some things in my life, but they seem so unimportant compared to this stuff, you know. And so I'm
You know,
trying to feel this,
my
you know.
specialty is working with cancer patients. So I always embed, you know, one or two cancer patients into my normal groups. I call them my normal neurotic groups. And one of the things that happens initially once I bring in a cancer patient is that everyone in the group starts to feel very constrained because, oh my God, she's got cancer. But eventually everybody comes to understand that everybody's issues are just as important to that person as any other issue. So, yes,
Okay.
you got a right to have your issues.
All right.
And it doesn't mean they're any less painful or more painful. You know, they say they don't just get cross as much as you can bear, right?
And
Some
be
people
grateful
can bear
it
less, some
hasn't
people
happened
can
to
bear
you.
more. I mean,
That's, excuse me, madame, but that is
Madame.
exactly what I said about you. Now you're telling her to be grateful. A few
No,
minutes ago,
she.
was telling you,
I feel
you have
great that she
never-
didn't have to
you
go through
never
this.
said that word yet, and I'm waiting for it.
Well, I'm grateful for Jane. I'm grateful to have met Jane because I find when I first met Jane, I found her to be very nurturing.
Am I going to cure you?
I don't know that. How do I wish I could? If no one else
What-
has, but I'm hoping maybe you'll be the one. You'll be the Jesus Christ in my life, and
What,
they'll put their hand
what
on
do you
me.
need curing from?
I just want to say.
It's a little complicated.
No,
It's another show.
You know what? I'm gonna say my definition of cure.
Okay.
Yeah, please, because you think
My-
I'm incurable.
I see you're looking with great interest. My definition of cure.
That's
Well,
keyword.
I've mentioned my mentor earlier, Hyman Spotton. It's his definition of cure, and my own analyst, Phyllis Meadow. Their definition of cure was that the analyst resolves the resistance to the patient being able to put all thoughts and feelings into words. Now, I know that's kind of a mouthful, so it just basically means that you have the ability to say what you're thinking and feeling. And the ability doesn't mean that you decide every moment to do it. It just
Right.
means that you have the ability when you decide that you want to make that decision. My definition of cure is that it's like you become like a ham, a cured ham.
I still don't know what that means.
It means you become delicious and delectable
Honey
and
maple.
Can
and well baked and tasty and
Seasoned.
well seasoned. Yeah.
Jane, I'm a little slow. Are you saying that
That's nice.
what I want to think here is that we...
And I'm not kosher, by the way.
Oh.
Neither are we, neither are we.
I want to think that one of the reasons why I'm in the group, or that I even have the strength to enter the group, is that at this stage in my life, I can try to be as honest as I can be. And as an educator, I always thought that the more honest we can be in sharing our real self, the more it allows other people to be honest. And that becomes a therapeutic community, or people end up getting better when they can be honest with each other.
And authentic.
Is
yeah.
that what you're meaning?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think coming to know authenticity in oneself
You're right.
is important. And I do see my groups as being therapeutic communities. I see that
Right.
we're all here to be therapeutic allies to each other. And when you are in the same group of people, and you may not know each other's last names, you're coming for an hour and a half to meet once a week, and that's your commitment, that's what you're doing.
Right.
It is so powerful. It becomes a real therapeutic community.
Right. I'd like to think that I'm embarking on that journey by just coming today.
Great.
That it took that kind of strength to come, and I think it takes strength for everybody to share themselves, and some are more willing than others. And
There's also a nurture
You have a nice
factor
way
to
with
it.
words. It was nice to hear that you feel comfortable and that you spoke.
who, me?
And like you said, is
Yes.
adding
Oh.
to
Yes,
the
you
group
will.
in a productive, constructive.
Yeah.
I feel warm feelings for you after
Thank
you just said that, as opposed to the feelings I felt when you were giving your resume.
So,
Oh,
so
Right.
All
Then I
right.
was
as a psychoanalyst who's specifically interested in cancer, I have the theory that sometimes, in some ways, there's some components of cancer as a psychosomatic disease. And of course, we now know that Regan gets these psychosomatic headaches whenever there's too much tension in the room. So I want to ask you, is your blindness psychosomatic in any way?
Well, the theory, 5 years ago when I was living in Brooklyn, I lost my eyesight, my right eye, in 2 days. It just went. And I've lost my eyesight now on my left eye. I'm legally blind. But from what I can understand in terms of medicine, stress creates cortisol, which creates the thyroids and everything. There's an imbalance. And regular medicine doesn't get into this.
Right.
And Paula, that I did a program with on healing, she definitely feels that. And I went through a nightmare divorce and the withdrawal of my children from seeing me.
You just said it.
What?
From seeing you.
Yeah, I know that. And they have the expression blind with rage, too. But, yeah, and so it's been a 28-year cycle, and it's culminated with a lot of physical manifestations and, quote, broken heart and all that stuff. So
That's a real malady, too.
yeah, it is. And maybe men, because they internalize their feelings
Yeah.
more, they're stricken more with heart attacks. And,
Yeah.
and then when women hold their feelings in, they have higher depression rates. And
Right.
so it's a big mess. And
Actually, I don't think that the depression is from people holding their feelings in. I think it's from turning the aggressive feeling
On
against
yourself.
oneself.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Self-hatred. Self-hatred.
Is it kind of the same way of looking at it?
No,
If you don't
'cause
direct
my-
it outward, to the proper source.
My understanding of depression is that it's actually quite active, as opposed to holding something in, that there's an active process that, it circles back on you
Yeah.
in a destructive fashion.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, just to sum up, my former wife was molested and was physically abused by her father, my father-in-law. She only told me that after our second daughter was born. And I made a documentary film per her request to help her heal. I'm also a documentary filmmaker. And she never healed. She's identified with the aggressor. And now she's flipped everything around to exonerate her father, in the sense that if my children now don't talk to me, the film that I made lovingly for her, who's going to believe it? Because they'll say, oh, his kids don't even want to talk to him. So she's in Chicago with her father, and she's reversed reality
Yeah.
against me. So it's pretty hard to cope with all that. So
So being
They say you learn through suffering.
but being an intellectual man that you
Yeah.
are, and probably pretty open, don't you believe in the theory that you can heal yourself, that that's only a temporary situation, your blindness?
Well, Paula definitely believes that. Paula Gloria, who had me on the program. And I, on a spiritual level, want to believe that.
Do you pray for the healing
Yes, I
of
do.
your
I'm a
eyes?
believer. I do believe.
'Cause I think that's
And
important.
it remains to be seen, and maybe that could be a
Remains
positive.
to be seen.
I
You
know.
gotta stop it with the
I know.
puns.
I know.
I
So
think-
anyway, I'm hoping to get help.
I know how I'm going to start the next session. I'm going to talk about Oedipus.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, Oedipus.
Remember the end of Oedipus? Blinded himself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So we'll talk about the meaning of that
Okay.
next week.
As opposed to the other complex where you're attached to your mother at the hip and never separated.
Well, we need to talk about that for
Because
your
that's my
sake.
issue. Well,
Yes.
my mother's birthday's coming up Friday, and it's killing me. So it's 3
Is your
years.
dad still living?
I know. My stepfather physically abused me from the age of 4 to the age of 12, and
you
abused my
said you
mother.
weren't physically
I
abused.
said I didn't say I was sexually
Talking sexually
abused.
is different.
No, but anyway, it's,
I was not
Physically.
sexually abused. There's a difference
it's
between
good that
physical
you're able
abuse
to
and
tell us
sexual
that,
abuse.
Barbara. I
Yes.
think that's good that you're able
And
to
then
tell us.
his
Saying
kids
physical. She
physically
doesn't say sex.
abused
She's never
me
said
and
sex.
emotionally
I mean,
abused me.
this-
So it just kept on going on, and my mother was abused too. We
Yeah.
both said we
I
went.
didn't know my father for 34 years.
I didn't know mine for either.
Do you know where he is?
He's dead. He's been dead. He died when I was 4 at 36.
So you have no recollection.
I don't have. I never had a male mentor. I never had a male.
Well, it's good
person.
that you're able to share that with the group.
So I think before we end, we need to hear more from Dee. I think that we haven't actually, we have, Dee, I want you to do the wrap up today.
Whoa. Well, I'm glad we got past the whole Paul coming in thing, because I really was, I didn't like it at all. And I didn't. And
So you feel differently now.
I do now. Yeah, yeah, I do. I knew I would. We just had to get over it.
So remember what I said about feelings being transitory? You breathe them in, you breathe them out, and they're always in flux and they're always changing. So that here we have evidence of that.
Yeah, I think this is going to work. I mean, I feel pretty good about. It's gonna. I like it when it gets crazy too, because then
I don't. I don't.
I do. I like that.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
You've been great. Y'all are the best. And we'll reconvene next week.
Thank you.
Same time, same place.
Same
work.
station, same-
And what time does it officially start?
This has been Musings from 20th Street, Dr. Jane G. Goldberg's reality TV group therapy. The group therapy session is 1.5 hours. This was the 6th show of a 16-week commitment. Jane G. Goldberg, all rights reserved.